Hey guys, it's Loey. Today I'm going to be doing a really kind of requested video. I'm always putting up new foundation routines, I feel like, but I've been doing my makeup beginner series, my makeup 101s, and a lot of people asked for a foundation 101. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. Originally when I started filming this, I thought I would do a foundation 101 and a concealer 101, but this is going to be how to cover hyperpigmentation, acne. This is the basic beginner's foundation tutorial. So I'm going to be going through everything really detailed. This might be fairly long. I'm going to be using a couple of products that I don't think I've talked about before. The first one being the Revlon Colorstay foundation. I love this so much and I think it's a great beginner's foundation because it is quite full coverage and you don't have to fuss with it too much to get a great coverage. That being said, this dries very quickly and you'll want to make sure to really buff it in and use a good primer underneath. I primed before I even started this tutorial. I can do a whole video on primers. Use whatever you're most comfortable with. I used one from Hard Candy if that helps any. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you how to get the perfect flawless base, and if you want to know how I do it, then just stay tuned. For this routine, I will be using a full coverage foundation. This is Revlon Colorstay in the color 150 Buff. It's a touch light for me right now, but we are going to go ahead and use it, and then I will correct with powder a little bit later. Always shake up your bottle. You always want to make sure there is no color like settling at the bottom and that everything is thoroughly mixed. So with this, it doesn't have a pump, so I'm just going to pour a bit onto the back of my hand. Now, Revlon Colorstay actually sets and dries fairly quickly. By the way, this is the one for dry to normal skin. And not the oily skin one because I am quite dry skinned. So first off, I will just start with each cheek, again, because this does set so fast. And I'll kind of work it onto this half of my face, and I'm going to do this first and then move on to the other half. Once I feel like I have enough product on, I will take a tiny bit more on the back of my hand onto the brush I will be using. Today I'm using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And I'm just going to start dabbing this on my face. Now, dabbing as opposed to swirling is going to leave not only less brush strokes, but you're also going to get a much better coverage from the foundation. It's just going to give you a better coverage this way, and also I think with a full coverage foundation, it actually looks more natural to pat it on as opposed to buffing it in. And then in small circular buffing motions, I will just blend it right here along the jawline. Now, despite that being better than actually buffing in as far as brush strokes go, sometimes you still can have a few, so I'm just going in and blending everything with my clean index finger. Just kidding, this is my middle finger. Don't forget to, and I usually do this on my fingers, take a tiny bit directly underneath the jaw, and if your foundation truly does not match in color, you will want to bring it a lot further down your neck. However, mine isn't too off, so I'll also bring it just right here behind the ears. If you can't already tell, I left underneath my eyes completely and totally bare, and that's because foundation is not meant to go underneath your eyes. It's actually not supposed to go in areas like that where it's going to crease very heavily. This is just one layer of foundation. I am just going to move into my concealer. First, we'll start with underneath the eyes and then move on to any spots on the face. The first concealer I'll be using is Maybelline's Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles Treatment Concealer, and this is in the Brightener shade. And I'm just going to take this directly under the eyes. Focus on that inner corner as well because that's where you cover up a lot of dark circle. I like to do this with my fingers just because I feel like it really helps to warm up the concealer. You can certainly use a brush for sanitary reasons, but I do disinfect my hands before applying makeup. I wash them, and then also I use an actual disinfectant after that as well, just in case. And also make sure to be very delicate when patting in this area because this is one of the most sensitive areas on your entire face. and it is where you show aging and premature wrinkling first. Let's move into concealing the face for now, and then we're going to come back to the eyes. So now I'm going to use my Hard Candy Glamoflauge concealer. This is in the color medium light, and you're going to see momentarily it does not perfectly match the foundation that I'm wearing. I will be dabbing a touch of foundation on top just to make everything blend, but for actual concealing purposes, we're just using this. So I've just squeezed out a touch on the back of my hand. You guys couldn't even see. I'm not quite used to this camera angle yet. And after patting that on the back of my hand to make sure it's nice and warmed up, I'm going to start concealing my face. Now, because I have hyperpigmentation in very large patches, I tend to go quite thick with the concealer here on the cheeks. And that's because if I took the time to sit there and pat it onto every individual spot, I would be screwed. So I just do this in fairly broad areas. This is pretty much how I cover hyperpigmentation. I just take the concealer and I pat it onto the areas where I have it. And you'll want to make sure to pat and not like swirl it, because that's going to really mess up the texture and it's going to start to look quite patchy and fake. I also like to take some concealer in areas where I tend to get red. So right here in the middle of my forehead, right here, right above the eyebrows on that inner corner, and then a bit on the sides of the nose. Once I have that down, I will take a bit of additional foundation just on my finger, and I'm just going to pat that over areas where I have the concealer. I'm doing this in a very, very thin layer because I don't want it to get any thicker and I don't want more coverage. I just want better color matching. So now I'm going to do a bit of highlighting with an additional concealer. This is from NYX and it is their HD Photogenic Concealer. I have quite bad and hereditary dark under eye circles, and they just get worse when I haven't slept. So I'm going to use a concealer that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than my actual skin tone. You can go a little bit lighter than that, but I do find that you tend to look really unnatural when that happens. So I'm going to take this and start it on the inner corners of my eyes and bring it into kind of an upside down triangle motion, then fill it in. Also just going to take a couple of dots of this right down my nose. And I'm going to save the other eye for a minute here, but I'm just going to blend this with my finger. This is how Kim Kardashian's makeup artist actually highlights. He does it much more extremely, and he does it with different products, and I think he's using cream foundations, but this is a great alternative for an everyday kind of look. I also like to use this on the bridge of the nose to make it look straighter and a bit higher. Powder also plays a huge role in my foundation routine, and I like to use 2 different ones. The first one that I will use is a translucent or very pale powder, and the second is a skin tone or a slightly darker powder. So this is the one for my face. The first one I'll be using is this translucent one, and this is going to go under the eyes, on the bridge of the nose, and right here in the center of the forehead and on the chin to really highlight these areas. I'll be taking a small brush just like this and dipping it into the powder. And then one final time, basically looking up like this, I am going to pat the concealer in one last time to make sure any creases are gone from under the eyes before I set it with powder. And then I'm just going to really quickly dab that powder on. I actually like to give most of my makeup a little bit of time to set, so I'm going to let that wait a few minutes and then I will come back and powder off the rest of my face. I obviously went ahead and did a bit more of my makeup, but now I'm going to set my face with my darker face powder and just a little kabuki brush. And this is going to go on the outer portions of my face, so where I didn't put the lighter powder previously. This is how I cover my hyperpigmentation and acne and dull skin. So yeah, at this point I would just start to put color back in, but I have already done a Makeup 101 video on that, which I will link down below on my contouring routine and my highlighting and my blush and all that. So make sure you go and check that out, but for now I'm going to go and finish my makeup and I will be right back. That is my tutorial on how to get flawless skin and how to cover every single mark on your face, and I do hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Leave me any questions that you might have down below. And yeah, until my next video, I love you girls so much and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!